Hello. In this video, we are going to solve Practice Now, which is given on textbook page number 135. The question is, on a sheet of graph paper, using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit, to draw the x-axis for the values of x from -2 to 3 and the y-axis for values of y from -2 to 3. Plot the points A 2, 2, B -2, 3, C -1, -2, and D 3, -1. So before plotting the points on the graph paper, we need to look at the highest and lowest value of x and y. By looking at the question, we can see that the values of x are from -2 to 3. It means that the highest value of x is 3 and lowest value of x could be -2. Similarly, the values of y are from -2 to 3. So it means the highest value of y is 3 and lowest value is -2. So we have to plot these 4 points. In the question, they have given us the scale as well. And since the scale is given, we are bound to follow it as well. So the scale that is given is 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on both the axes. On x-axis and y-axis, we have to take 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. Now, if you have a centimeter graph paper, things get really easy. But since getting a centimeter graph paper is not that easy, as they are not easily available, so if you have an inches graph paper, there is no need to worry. I'll be showing you how to draw this graph on an inches graph paper. So here I have an inches graph paper. It is known as an inches graph paper because distance between any two bold lines, either vertically or horizontally, is 1 inches. So we will draw the axis. Now since we have to use centimeters, so 4 lines in an inches graph paper represents 1 centimeter. So we are going to mark every fourth line starting from the origin 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth line. We are going to mark it. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark it, and so on. And this is the x-axis. Similarly, on the negative x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. Similarly, on the y-axis, starting from origin, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the y-axis. Similarly, in the negative y direction, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Since we have to represent 1 unit by 1 centimeter, so we are going to write 1 over here, then 2 and 3. And on the left of 0, we will have -1, -2, -3. Similarly, for y-axis, on top of origin, we will have 1, 2, 3. And below 0, we'll have -1, -2, and -3. So we have drawn the axis and marked it as well. Now let's start plotting the points. First point that we have to plot is A 2, 2. So starting from origin, x is positive in the right direction, here we have 2, and y is positive in upward direction, we move up, and here we have 2. So mark it, and we will label it with A, 2, comma 2. The next point is B, negative 2, 3. Negative 2 is here, and 3 is upwards. So this is the point B, negative 2, comma 3. Then C is negative 1, comma negative 2. Negative 1 is here and negative 2 is down here. So this is negative 1, comma negative 2. And this is C. Next we have to plot D, which is 3, comma negative 1. X is positive. So we go towards right of the origin. So from origin we go to 3, which is here on the right. And then negative 1 we move downwards. And this point represents 3, comma negative 1. And this is D coordinate. So we are done with plotting the points. In graph, when we plot graph, we might have plotted the graph correctly, but there are certain things that need to be there on your graph to get full marks in your exam. So I make my students write a checklist in all the questions that they do. And it is very easy to remember the checklist. Just remember the acronyms C, S, D, GEL. C stands for coordinates, S stands for scale, D stands for dotted line, J stands for joint line, E stands for equation on line, and L stands for labeled axis. So these are the things, if they are missing in your graph, you will not get full marks in your test. Coordinates means as soon as we have labeled the point, the coordinate, we have to mention the coordinates. So I had to plot 4 points and I have mentioned the coordinates as well. So I can put a tick over here that I have done this task. Scale. The scale has to be written on the graph paper, and since I have not written it, so the checklist reminds me that I have to write the scale as well. So on x-axis, these 4 lines are representing 1 unit, and 4 lines mean 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. Similarly, on y-axis, these 4 lines are representing 1 unit. So 4 lines means 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. So I have written the scale as well on the graph. So I can put a tick mark over here. Dotted lines. I have not drawn dotted lines here and they are not required in the question. So I'll simply cross it up because it is not required in this question. Joint line. The question do not tell us to join the coordinates. So this will also not be there. Equation on line is written in the questions in which we are given the equation. Since we were not given the equation, so we will not write equation on line in this question. Lastly, labeled axis. Labeled axis means that we have to label the axis. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. And at times they tell us that at times they tell us that x-axis represents, for example, dollars, and y-axis represents number of t-shirts, for example. So we have to label it as well on our axis. So for this question, we only needed to mention that this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So we have labeled it. We are going to place a tick mark, and so our checklist is complete, and we can be sure that we haven't made any mistakes and we will get full marks for this question. Happy learning!